Hi, friends. It has been a minute. We have been on one of our famous hiatuses from the podcast. If you're a longtime listener, you know that we tend to take breaks from recording and then come back when we are feeling ready and energized again. We wish that we could tell you exactly how long these breaks would be, but a lot of them have to do with our energy and capacity. And so there can be a lot of variability there. But we hope to be back soon. And in the meantime, we wanted to quickly just check in and catch up about some things that we have available if you have been missing the podcast, both for those of you in our audience who are grief or mental health professionals or who work with grievers, and for those of you yourself who may be grieving. So if you're in that former category and you are a grief worker or a death worker of some sort, if you work in mental health, we just wanted to give a reminder that we have our annual intensive in grief-informed practice 2-day continuing education workshop coming up on September 18th and 19th. This is a virtual workshop that is really designed to make sure that in whatever your capacity, whether it is as a therapist or counselor or as a social worker in another setting, a case manager, a coach, a chaplain, anybody who is working with a griever, that you really have the essential foundations in theory and practice to be confident in your grief support skills. We know a lot of people didn't receive formal training in their graduate programs in grief, unfortunately. And so this is really designed to make sure that you have the foundation that you deserved but might not have gotten in graduate school, and that your clients deserve to make sure you have. The first day is really digging into a lot of um, theory and types of grief and understanding what we're seeing and how grief shows up for people emotionally, cognitively, behaviorally, relationally, spiritually, existentially, all the different ways. And then day 2 is really working with evidence-informed interventions and tools for working with grief in general, but really with some of the most complex grief experiences, the things that end up most deeply derailing people and ending up as real difficult stuck points in grief. Things like guilt and regret and anger and blame and self-blame and many of those things that impact self-worth and ability to feel like one can build a life moving forward. So it has a lot that you can bring right into your practice. It also includes lots of worksheets and tools, and you will obviously have the opportunity to be there for the 2-day live virtual session, but you also have access to a replay. And then access to live QA sessions each month. We know that when you are working to integrate things into practice, that sometimes there are questions that come up or challenges, and there is a monthly space that you'll be able to join to chat with us, ask questions, talk about how things are going, as well as a 3-month membership in our grief professionals community, and a discount on all of our 2026 continuing education series. So you will have lots even after those 2 days. If you are a griever and not a grief professional, but you're a griever who is here tuning in, we miss you too. And we just want to remind you about our What's Your Grief Hub for Learning and Connection, which has so many resources and ways to connect with us. It is really an alternative to or supplement to traditional grief counseling and support groups. It offers all sorts of creative ideas, writing prompts, creative studio spaces to share creative expression around grief. Tons of webinars weekly. We do a weekly new coping tool every week that's easy to integrate and that you can put into practice right away. We have a forum for conversation, a book club, all sorts of things in there. It's $19 a month, or it's even less if you join for the year. And there's just a lot going on there. And with that, there's also our free webinar series that we do every month. So you can always join us for one of our free webinars. And of course, our weekly-ish, maybe bi-weekly to weekly newsletter that goes out, which you can sign up for free, which has tons of great information and resources and grief support. So I am going to be sharing in the show notes links to all of those things. The intensive, if you're interested in joining us on September 18th and 19th, information if you want to join the Griever Hub, and then a link to where you can sign up for our newsletter if you're not already receiving that, so you can keep in touch and know what is going on at What's Your Grief in this break from podcast episodes. So we hope that you have been getting what you need as you work your way through these summer months and into the autumn. We will be back here in the feed soon. And in the meantime, we hope to see you either in the hub or at the intensive.